The World Bank project displaced millions around the world. The World Bank financing is contributing to displacement of millions of residents in Africa. The bank that came into existence after the Second World War to help promote, develop the poor or war-torn countries admitted that it does not know how many people lost their land or jobs because of World Bank project activities, who are, or those who are relocated, were compensated. And today, the same activities are taking place in Africa. According to investigative report, more than 7,200 World Bank projects between 2004 and 2013, at least 3.4 million people have lost their land, job, of World Bank funding. They have no follow-up. They don't check what is going on, although they know. And they have read all these reports for years and years, telling them that people are being forced out of their home. They have done nothing about it. The World Bank funding have funded forced relocation that turns violent. An example in Ethiopia, where $2 billion in health and education initiative caused mass eviction in Western Ethiopia, where soldiers raped and beat locals. More than 400 caused displacement of local. It happens in Asia also, and Africa. Almost 100,000 in Ethiopia. The World Bank funded project fueling land grab and displacement of people. 3,400 million people forced out of their home or off their land since 2004. World Bank project in Brazil, Ghana, India, Uganda, South Sudan, etc., etc. The World Bank failed to protect people who are displaced in the name of progress. In the name of progress. To me, personally, the World Bank have committed crime against humanity. And it has to be brought to answer for their activities around the globe for all this time, causing suffering to a lot of people in developing countries. If you look, I was reading a news paper about Uganda, where the National Forestry Authority, eviction of residents in Buma district, Anapieta in Palabay-Kogili, Lamoa district, is causing concern. The National Forestry Authority and their external donors has to be investigated. We cannot allow the World Bank to finance a group of people or organization that goes around and destabilize people from their own home. If you look at the case of Uganda, These people who are now being threatened with displacement, they have lived in the camp for a long time. For more than 25, 26 years, they lived in the camp. Now, they went back home, trying to put their life together. And here comes the World Bank through the National Forest Authority and trying to displace those who were already displaced for a long time once again. That is unacceptable. And those donors who are also helping organizations like National Forest Authority to commit crime against humanity should be brought to justice. We all love to have a forest, but you cannot wake up in the morning and then come to somebody's home and say, well, I have funding from the World Bank. I want to turn your home into a forest reserve. That is not acceptable. That is not acceptable. We cannot allow people who have suffered all these years in the camp, they just return home and allow them again to face another forced displacement. We have been hearing about the project funded by the World Bank all around the world that went wrong, where women had been raped, people had been beaten up. And I understand when the National Forest Authority came to Lamore district, the local chairman tried to protest. He was beaten up badly until the local organized themselves and chased the people away. When you give funding to an organization and you don't control, you don't check to find out whether they have that forest, because when they ask for the loan, they should declare where the forest is. And you, as a representative of the World Bank in Uganda, you should have gone there, checked the place, confirm it before putting your signature to give these people loan to go and displace people in their own homes. This is an insult to our intelligence. There is an insult to our people. There is an insult to the World Bank itself. And your representative in Kampala should have been very ashamed of himself or herself for working with the authority to commit crime against humanity on the people who had already suffered all these years in camp. They came back. They want to put their life together. You know it. I know it. You have read it. You know exactly what happened in northern Uganda. You know how long these people have stayed in the camp. And you, as a representative of the World Bank in Kampala, still endorsed forced relocation, forced displacement. This is something we cannot accept. Today, people are being evicted from their land under unclear demarcation without being approved by Parliament. The latest drama took place in Palaro in Gulu district and Apieta in Palabekogili, Lamore district, 18th of September. Where the National Forest Authority officers with surveyors came to the village in the company of Uganda People Defense Forces, the army, soldiers, carrying machine guns, and started demanding community land. Demanding community land. That is not acceptable. People had been roughed out, beaten up. Thanks God, the people of the area mobilized themselves and chased them away. The National Forest Authority gets their funding from the World Bank under the pretext that they have the land to grow bamboo for sale to South Sudanese refugees, to whom the same people of Palabang have given their land to host those refugees running away from their countries. And this is what they get in return. World Bank funding, trying to force them from their ancestral land, where they're born, they grew up, they buried their grandfathers, great-grandfathers, their children, their women on that land. And you come, you just want to displace them. You want them to become refugees in their own land. You should be ashamed of yourself, World Bank representative in Kampala and the World Bank in New York. You should be ashamed of yourselves. And to National Forest Authority, you have been going around claiming that the land you want was a part of 𝙁𝙊𝙇𝙊𝙒 Central Forest Reserve. Let me tell you something. You don't know what you're doing. We are living in a digital world where these days our actions are being followed and recorded. When you come to somebody's home with soldiers, trying to make them afraid to react, trying to force them out of their land, all those activities are recorded. And it becomes history. Now you have the power to misuse the Uganda army that is supposed to be defending the people of Uganda. But let me tell you something. There will come a time when Uganda is ready and we start investigating your claim about that land belonging to 𝙁𝙊𝙇𝙇𝙊𝙒 Central Forest Reserve. We will investigate deep that one time or one day you will be brought to justice for crime against humanity. If you do things without knowing or without knowledge to enter a sub-country and beat up the local chairman of that district, and in that process you humiliated our people, you destroyed their crops, the only thing that kept them in life, we are not going to forgive you for that. And two, our local leader in the district, I know we have a minister of state there. We have a minister there. We have two ministers around that district. We have parliamentarians in that district. And when this misfortune happens and you keep quiet, you don't talk about it, you don't complain about it, you don't hold the government in power responsible, or you don't hold the ministry or the National Forest Authority responsible for what they did in the district. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. You will be made accountable for what is happening in that district. Or you are a resident district commissioner in that area. We will, in future, hold you responsible for what happened. We will. Because these days, we are living in a digital time where everything we do is recorded. It's not like when we were growing up where the technology was not yet good enough to record history, to document history. Because whatever is happening, where we read it, where it's coming from, we will compile it and use it at the right moment to ask for justice. We have given our land to accommodate refugees coming to Uganda. Is this how we are paid back from the World Bank, from the National Forest Authority, from you, representative of the government in the district, and you, the parliamentarians, and you, the ministers and state minister in that district? Does not make sense. Why are you keeping quiet? When you know that the same people the National Forest Authority want to chase from their land has already sacrificed their land, giving it to keep those refugees coming to Uganda. You all want to play good boys and girls to international community. And let me tell you one thing. The technology is there. We will record this. There will come a time we'll use it to prosecute whoever committed crime against humanity for their own interests, whether in Palar, whether in Apiela, whether in Parashelam. Let me tell you something. We will not give up. We don't accept insult to injury. We are not going to give up until we hold the donors, the World Bank, and the sponsors of forceful displacement in 𝙁𝙊𝙇𝙊𝙒 land are brought to justice. To you, my brothers and sisters, don't allow anybody to chase you away from your ancestral land. Don't allow that to happen. Thank you for listening.